Hi, I'm Fran from Training Kings, and today I'm here with Brian Armstrong, and we're going to be talking a little bit about his business journey and how he got involved in Training Kings. So, welcome, Brian. It's nice to have you here today.
Hi, friends. Nice to see you again.
Excellent. So, do you want to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
A bit about myself. What do you want to know? I'm married to Hazel. I have 3 kids. 24, 20, and 16. My youngest is still at school in the 6th form. Got 2 have left. I've been married for 35, 36 years now, almost. Met my wife at university in the CU. And we've been together for quite some time. Outside of that, I could have been involved in the church for many, many, many years. And those who know me know that one of my biggest passions outside of Kingdom is I love ice hockey, which is probably not really surprising, given as I grew up in Canada, in the Midwest.
Sure.
And Saskatchewan winters, everyone learns to skate, so it's great fun. Yeah.
Excellent. And it's always good to have a passion, isn't it?
Oh,
because
yeah.
life, you've got to have that good mix of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Absolutely.
And so, I know you are in business and you have run several businesses. What's your business background?
My business background is, when I left university, I was in chemical manufacturing in industry. So I was responsible for 14 production lines, process and quality control from raw material to finished product. And we ran 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And back in those days, for a production line to shut down was £2,000 an hour. So
Wow.
You had to make sure that you did the job right. So that gave me quite a good insight into how big business operates. We're a world leader, and I only had a couple of competitors. So you learn that side of stuff. From there, I moved into the civil service, series of events that I won't bore you with. But from there I joined the civil service. I worked in the Inland Revenue for 9 years. And I left that in 1994 to set up my own business.
Okay, so you took that big plunge.
Yeah, it was a plunge that was to a certain extent forced on me through a combination of circumstances.
Sure.
And no one in my family had ever been self-employed or run a business, so it was a big step, and you have to trust a lot and make sure that, God, have you really spoken to me here?
Yeah.
But so I did it, and my daughter was just a year old at the time, so it was a great time to give up a secure income with a pension and everything else. But that was 25 years ago, almost. So from there, I obviously started out in tax. I learned financial services, and I worked with some guys in mortgages, kind of pulling the whole thing together. So we had corollary businesses so that we could help out each other's clients. And built the practice to a full-blown accountancy practice, which I then closed in 2008. In between, I started working with a friend of mine and looking at a business restructure. We took one business with 3 income streams, developed 4 businesses out of that. Then in 2012, we split that again to develop another one, which we developed purely as Kingdom. Our focus was, we weren't going to partner with anyone. It was non-Kingdom. We weren't going to go to the world to borrow money and stuff like that. It was, this is how we're going to do it. And God spoke to us a lot over that time.
Yeah.
So that in 2014, God told us to give it away. Now, I don't want you owning the business. You can steward it, but you can't own it. So we actually sewed that into a Christian trust. So since 2008, I've been working in franchising. I've been working with other business owners. I had a big break 2015 up until probably this time last year. And so now I spend my time coaching, encouraging, mentoring people, bringing my experiences of business, private sector, public sector, and I work in the charitable sector as well. So bringing all that together,
Mm-hmm.
bringing a multidisciplinary approach to problem solving, so strategic planning and hand holding.
Yeah.
How do I get started? How do we grow this? How do we develop it? So,
Yeah. So it sounds like you've had a very extensive, I guess, range of experiences.
Yeah.
It's not just been you've started a company, and now the same company is running, and it's just been one thing. There's been a few different elements, hasn't there?
No, I've worked with all kinds of people. Yeah.
Excellent. And if you could tell yourself 25 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
3 bits of advice as someone who's new in business, what would they be?
Oh wow.
I'm sure there's lots more.
3 bits of advice. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Get people around you who have been there, done it.
Yeah.
Learn from them as much as you can. Because I've always told my clients, never be afraid to ask questions. There's no such thing as a silly question.
Yeah.
And I guess it works both ways. And I've always been blessed with having people around me who have been on the journey just a little bit longer than me. And you can learn so much just by being around people. Even if you don't ask questions, just listen to the conversation. Maybe pitch in from time to time, suggest something, and wait for the answer to come back, because you learn so much.
Yeah.
A former manager of mine used to say, Brian, you can have 1 year's experience 10 years over, or you can have 10 years experience. And there's a huge difference. And so, it's get people around you who know more than you do.
Okay.
And that you can feel comfortable with.
Yeah. So would that be your first bit of advice?
That's the first bit of advice. Second bit of advice is you've got to have a stable and supportive home environment. I could only have done what I've done over the last 25 years because my wife has supported me. And even now, because my kids support me in that.
Yeah.
My 2 sons have never known me. Well, in fact, all my kids have never known me do anything else other than effectively work for myself or work with other people.
Yeah.
And that brings a lot of challenges. You have, just in terms of cash, which is one of the single biggest reasons for divorce is financial reasons.
Yeah.
And when you are self-employed, the cash flow can be a little bit lumpy.
Sure.
And you've got, really fruitful years, but you get lean years as well. And it's everyone mucking in together and supporting you through that. And so it's, because my wife has always been supportive.
Yeah.
I've been able to do what I've done, even to the point where I don't work full time. I can afford not to, which means I can give my time to chairing the charities that I'm involved with, and doing other stuff, which doesn't generate income, but which is still equally valid.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah.
So
a supportive home life, and it's actually something that I think perhaps a lot of people wouldn't have really considered, that it could have such an impact on your business journey.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
even in franchising, when we're assessing people for their suitability to franchising and even self-employment before that, you have a list of desirable qualities, but also essential. And a supportive home environment is always in the essential list. So you can't do what you do without that. Running a business, setting up a business, starting from scratch, it's challenge enough without having other challenges going on in the background.
Excellent. Thank you. Really, really helpful. And what would your third bit?
My third
bit of advice be?
Probably manage the cash flow. Don't spend it all at once.
A new contract comes in, you get lots of money, don't just go shopping.
No, you can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
You've got to be wise with your money. And if you've read Samuel's book, Do the Possible and Watch God Do the Impossible, in that there's some really great financial advice about how you split up your money in terms of the different pots perhaps that you put it in.
Yeah.
So it's do that. Be sensible and don't go crazy. And whatever was in the business plan for the financials, keep that in mind.
Excellent, thank you.
All
That's
right.
really, really helpful. I think it's always good to learn from those who've had a greater level of experience, and you can share wisdom and practical advice as well. So hopefully that's been helpful to those who are watching. So,
Sure.
you are involved in Training Kings. You're our Training Kings ambassador, and
Yeah.
you lead and host as well as speak. How did you first hear about Training Kings?
I met Samuel Leeds.
And for those that aren't aware, he's the founder and director of Training Kings.
That's
Yeah.
right. At that time, this was 2013, so Samuel was just getting things going at that point, and myself and my friend were setting up Mr. Franchise. And we were looking for investors and other people who could help us, and in particular, we were looking for someone who could work the Midlands region for us. And my co-director met Samuel, and there had been a little conversation. So we the three of us got together and just chatted a bit more. And Samuel shared the vision for Training Kings.
Yeah.
And so this would have been into 2014, early 2014. So yeah, and then Ian and I went along to a Birmingham breakfast. So that's how I met Samuel and got to know about him.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And then obviously you got involved, became a member, and then subsequently became a leader. And having been a part of Training Kings now for almost 2 years, is it thereabouts?
14. I joined Training Kings in 2015, I think.
15.
Was it?
So going into almost the third year.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And how's the journey been?
Oh, it's been great fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's on different levels, If you're a young business, it's great networking to build up those contacts. For me, I never joined it for what I could get out. It's given me a great opportunity to sow back into other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2015, my mum passed away, and that was a major event in my life. It's changed my life completely in lots of different ways. I think one of the things that it did was it reorganized my values and my priorities. And so for me, at my stage in life, it's about what I can sow back into other people and support, I guess, what I would call a rising generation. Now, that's not necessarily people who are younger than me, although most people in Training Kings are. But it's people who are coming behind me in the journey.
Yeah.
So it's a rising generation in terms of new entrepreneurs, people who are starting businesses, people who perhaps have been there but want to move on. So for me, it's been great to be able to sow back into other people's lives and share what I've learned over the odd year or two, So it has changed my life, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Excellent.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's really, really good to hear. And for those perhaps who are new in business, how would you really explain the value of, being a part of a business network in terms of getting them on that journey and the continued support as well?
Networking in general is a great way to build a business. I built my accountancy practice purely on referrals. I did do some advertising, spent a lot of money, got 3 inquiries, didn't sign up any of them. So I thought, okay, I know where my focus needs to be. It needs to be on looking after the clients I've got and then making recommendations.
Yeah.
And so when you're in a networking event, an environment, to get referrals, it's all about relationship. And so networking is critical for that. And so there is that exchange of business. Because as you know, people do business with people that they know, like, and trust.
Absolutely.
And a great way of doing that, building up those relationships, is in a networking environment.
Yeah.
Whether that's a purely business, secular environment, or whether it's a kingdom environment, it doesn't really matter. The principle is the same. Within Training Kings, it's great because we bring kingdom and business together, because we are kingdom people first and foremost. So you have that lovely mix within Training Kings of people who turn up, as you know, in Wolverhampton, with people, when I first went, who just had an idea, and it was still embryonic. And 2 years down the line, it's there, it's fledged. This is me, this is who I am.
Yeah.
This is the business, this is what we do. We've got the, and it's all there. And to watch that journey is really exciting. And so, I love the emphasis that we have within Training Kings of being an incubator.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got an idea. That's great, and it's, for me, it's exciting to see people on that journey and to help them fledge.
Absolutely.
So involved with Training Kings, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's really good. And I think because it is very much about relationship building, what's been lovely is, you know, when perhaps suggested, you know, go and have a chat with Brian, have a coffee, you know, just share some ideas, and they've come back and they've gotten what they've needed to really make the next step, or they've felt really encouraged that, you know what, I can do this. So yeah, thank you for your involvement and your support. It's,
my pleasure.
It's been really, really great
pleasure.
as well. So if anyone's sat there thinking, why should I come and have a visit, what would be the last thing you say to them?
A visit to Training Kings.
Yeah, come and visit Training Kings.
You never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a cliche, but it's true. You never know who's in the room, and certainly what I've found in the last probably 2-3 years, particularly, is I'm connecting people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking for connections. I'm always looking for connections, but it's been, you're in a conversation with someone, they're looking for someone in a particular industry or whatever. You think, oh, I know someone, and it's that, and just be around Kingdom people.
Yeah.
Because there are actually not that many of us around.
Yeah.
And to just be around folk who do business, but in a kingdom way.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that in any other networking event.
Sure. And when we say kingdom, we're not talking people who've necessarily got Christian businesses, but they are a Christian and they're in business, isn't it? So it's someone who can relate to them in those different ways.
Yeah, it's you know, faith and business aren't separate. They're not in different boxes. We're kingdom people through and through.
Yeah.
You know, I always talk about the stick of rock. You know, if I go to Blackpool and I buy a stick of rock, if I look at either end, it says Blackpool, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And wherever you break it along its length, those two ends will still say Blackpool. And it's a bit like that with us. We are kingdom through and through. So if you were to break us like a stick of rock, it should still say kingdom on the two ends. Absolutely. And so it's not a case that, oh, I'm in business now and that's who I am, or I'm at home. It's whatever context we are in, we're still business. We're still kingdom. And we interact and relate to people as kingdom people.
Yeah.
So the way I treat my employees, the way I treat my customers, the way I treat my friends, the way I treat my family, the way I relate in church, whatever, it's still those same principles and core values that I operate by.
Yeah.
People call it integrity.
Absolutely.
You know, we're not spiritual schizophrenics. We are kingdom people, whether we're doing business or just, in my case, maybe sat at the ringside watching a hockey game.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I'm the same person.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's very wise. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for taking the time out today to come and have this interview, share your advice and your experience as well.
My pleasure.
And we definitely wish you all the best for the future. Thank you. God bless.
Bless you.